Good morning, everybody. So I would like to, for CPI's morning message today, I'd like to read a little passage from Huey P. Newton's autobiography that I think is very profound, that motivates me from time and again, especially somebody who's suffered in the past with the sort of despair that our ruling class has cultivated. And then we're just going to talk about it a little bit. So the passage goes, "With this redefinition, the term revolutionary suicide is not as simplistic as it might seem initially. In coining the phrase, I took two knowns and combined them to make an unknown, a neoteric phrase in which the word revolutionary transforms the word suicide into an idea that has different dimensions and meanings applicable to a new and complex situation. My prison experience is a good example of revolutionary suicide in action, for prison is a microcosm of the outside world. From the beginning of my sentence, I defied the authorities by refusing to cooperate. As a result, I was confined to lockup, a solitary cell. As the months passed and I remained steadfast, they came to regard my behavior as suicidal. I was told that I would crack and break under the strain. But I did not break, nor did I retreat from my position, and I grew strong. If I had submitted to their exploitation and done their will, it would have killed my spirit and condemned me to a living death. To cooperate in prison meant reactionary suicide to me. With solitary confinement can be physically and mentally destructive, my actions were taken with an understanding of the risk. I had to suffer through a certain situation. By doing so, my resistance told them that I rejected all that they stood for, even though my struggle might have harmed my health, even killed me. I looked upon it as a way of raising the consciousness of the other inmates, as a contribution to the ongoing revolution. Only resistance can destroy the pressures that cause reactionary suicide. The concept of revolutionary suicide is not defeatist or fatalistic. On the contrary, it conveys an awareness of reality in combination with the possibility of hope. Reality, because the revolutionary must always be prepared to face death, and hope, because it symbolizes a resolute determination to bring about change. Above all, it demands that the revolutionary sees his death and his life as one piece. Chairman Mao says that death comes to all of us, but it varies in its significance. To die for the reactionary is lighter than a feather, but to die for the revolution is heavier than Mount Tai." Now, while perhaps I wouldn't put it in those sorts of terms, what Huey is conveying in this essay is something quite profound, and it's something that very much holds true, and that is that to live for others, to live a life of struggle, to dedicate oneself to the struggle for the liberation of the proletarian class, to do the kind of work that today CPI is doing, going out amongst the people and talking to them, is the best cure for the way that the ruling class cultivates despair and hopelessness and degradation and depression, because they want us to die. They want us to crawl away and die. And to go along with what they want is to condemn yourself to such a fate. But when we dedicate ourselves to struggle, when we take up history's challenge, what we're doing is not only rejecting the fate that they have confined us to, but we're also asserting that we are people and that we demand to be treated as people, and we're willing to make sacrifices to see the future that we all want to see, a future where everybody is provided for, where people are taken care of, where the economy is rationally planned in a way that makes sense and that doesn't arbitrarily harm people for the profits of a few wealthy bankers on Wall Street. When I read that passage, I think of all the young people like myself, who have completely lost hope because they grew up in a time where it was made very clear from a young age that the economy wasn't about them, that our rulers didn't care about them, that it would be best if they crawled away and died. When we do the work that CPI does, when we educate people about what imperialism does, about why it does what it does, not only are we rejecting that, but we're talking with people who, like us, are in this for real. They're dedicated to struggle. And that's why the work that CPI does is so important, because when we get people to understand the reasons why, what is happening to them is what is happening to them, it necessarily fills them with hope, because they understand on some level that they can change it. And when you understand that you can change it, when you understand that you're not hopeless, that there is something that you can do, when you begin to struggle, when you begin to, join organizations and join with your comrades, there's nothing they can do to stop you, because at that point, you understand why you're in this.